All right, we are live coming to you from the corner of Pine and 11th here within Chop. It is early Friday morning and we've got the Seattle Department of Transportation out, and they've got trucks out here, workers here in hard hats, and discussions and negotiations going on between the city of Seattle and Chop here within the boundaries of Chop. Good morning, Andy. And let's take a live listen in.
Yeah, until the policeman more than a human life. Until the policeman more than a human life.
But I used to have this before you actually know. I'm a but I kind of
today is not the day to move barriers.
No barriers. And a block away from the fire department, I'm looking to get a lot of them reporting to the suicide, but they don't have to contact 24
Yeah, but you guys need to look at the hierarchy of the situation and then know who to talk to. Everybody here falls under some over there.
You guys be real quick. If you guys have your core group of leaders that you can talk and come to consensus, it has the authority to make the decisions that everyone's going to follow.
That's why we waited all the way to here.
That's the black flag.
I can get some more.
That's directly Zimbabwe right there.
Good morning. Live looking at discussions between the city and Chop.
People are asking, is the SPD planning on moving in here today? Is the questions that I'm getting here on the feed. I talked to a captain earlier. He confirmed the same
Was there
thing.
not a van that was able to just drive through here just now? So what do you mean flashpoints if there's openings where cars can get in?
Right here.
The barricades on 12 up there on the north side.
So there's a
As
representative
long
from
as
the
they're
mayor's
not touching the
office.
barricades surrounding the precinct, that is my only constitutional right to protect out here. I told these niggas for a week I cannot protect them.
Let's see if we can talk to the director of the Seattle Department of Transport.
Hey, we got a medic.
As people scream medic or scream for a medic.
Version of what you guys got in the place where we can sign online if there's a case of the issue for record, because we don't need another instance. You guys say something happens and then all of a sudden
Cameras here.
I've got a question.
Regardless of paperwork, the city is now.
I got a question right here. If we've got the office and the mayor and S-Tot, and we've got people who are on the ground, and you're negotiating right now over the barricade, what's prevented the city of Seattle, S-Dot, and you guys that are here from negotiating about this beforehand?
because we want to talk to our people first. It's not just about us.
But no,
We're
I
just
didn't say make a
spokespeople.
decision today. I said, why haven't you guys, if you're willing to negotiate today, why weren't you willing to negotiate yesterday or the day before?
There have been multiple negotiations, and you've been here for 3 weeks, you know this. I'm not answering the question.
No, I've been here for 3 weeks and I didn't know about it.
I've been here right now.
Angelica, I've been here for 3 weeks. I didn't know. A lot of us have, and we didn't know about it.
As someone from
Excuse me, sir. Are you Mr. Zimbabwe? I'm with Calcus News in California. Can we speak really quickly if you wouldn't mind?
Not right now.
Is there a certain hour you're available?
Possibly. We're in the midst of all this right now. So
All right, I'll try you again in a little while. So this is Sam Zimbabwe, director of S-Dot. S-Dot has come in here with workers, and I believe they've started moving some of the artwork. Let's go back to the live conversation.
Quite frankly, I will tell
The farm. No, the farm is a non-negotiable.
The farm is off limits.
Okay.
I asked
No,
that
yeah,
you
the
give me.
farm
I
is
asked
still-
that you give me another.
So we've been, like you said, we've been in discussion with
But
you
again,
all
that they're
about.
only protected around this land.
Okay, we got that clear. We got that clear. young lady.
Let me tell these people. You're only giving cops access.
And I believe they're speaking with a representative of Mayor Jenny Durkin's office.
They're only giving cops access.
But and again, maybe that like you guys have those conversations. Tell them, sis.
We will do another warning.
We do have.
No access for cops.
Unfortunately,
No access for cops.
no access to cops, right? So we will have to have.
Or murders.
And what about, is it okay to have others come in and start working with them to offer these services?
We've been asking for that. From the
Okay,
beginning.
and I know that it's been subtle, but they've been a little bit shaky because they were concerned about, you know, the activity that was going on. So it's up to y'all. So I'm hearing a yes. Okay, so I'm hearing a yes for social services.
When they do walk in,
Even for
please.
social services to come back.
No. What I'm saying is, we're not stopping you. What I'm saying is to make sure that this navigates as smoothly as possible. Can you let us know when they come so that we walk with you?
Why don't we just
So 8 a.m. We wanted to bring out.
And by social, I should specify what we mean by social.
So Mary's Place, homeless service provider.
Yeah.
Homeless service provider. So
Absolutely. But these people are not being incarcerated.
No.
They always will. They're always trust them. Do not stop them.
they just want to save their ass from the lawsuits. Don't trust them.
Yeah.
Regardless of offering.
I'm a child of a person like been
That makes sense.
shelter. You know what I'm saying? I've been there. Trust me, I've been there. So what are you talking about?
So we're gonna.
Wait, I'm sorry. Who are you?
Yeah, let's focus on the people who have some.
He's all good. He's all good,
Yes, sir.
man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We'll talk when we're done.
My bad, brother. My bad, brother. I just, yeah,
So let's just
my
give
bad.
some headway. We're making some, this is healthy. So we're understanding that the police station is something that you have really touched, and that's a non-negotiable. Secondly, it's okay to bring in some outreach services and start working with those persons in the park.
Yeah, but they gotta check in with us first. So we
Who's
know
the
that
us?
they
Look,
are.
give us the us so we know.
You three.
Right, we're going to focus right there. They're going to focus and work directly with y'all. So everybody that's going to be coming through here, we're assuming that whether it's S-Tot in the future, whether it's City Lights, they got to fix out lights, anybody should be negotiating with you three.
Yes.
You have the
All
authority
three.
to. You
All
have
three,
the
not
authority.
just one of you. All
Wait,
three.
no, I said all three. No,
As
all
you
three.
see,
Wait. Your unit. Pardon me. Wait, your unit.
Hey, let him finish. Let him finish.
Your unit, right?
Let him
You
finish,
all of this is a unit. This is unity. That's what a unit
And the
is,
three of
right?
us are people
So
who've
you
been
guys are
here
the point of
9
contact. You're the point of contact.
Many more people have been
We
here.
understand that. No doubt. I know. I see
Many
you
more
all
people
day.
have been here.
We will discuss this person.
When I see this shit, bro. No, don't touch me, bro. Don't touch me. Get your fucking hands off me.
There are many black leaders that have been here that are
I'm
not
not
here.
negotiating with nobody over here, bro. Nobody over here, bro. And I'm gonna get real crazy, bro, if I don't know what's going on, bro. I wanna know what's going on here, bro.
Why don't you just let him come in and hear? Why don't you let him?
Real crazy, bro.
Not just to know. Then you guys, you guys can figure that out. You all can figure that out.
Hey, let's talk. Let's talk. Keep talking.
You guys can figure that out.
Keep talking. Come on. Keep talking.
That's it. So we want
Keep talking, please.
one, just getting access to be able to figure out what barriers and so forth we take once you decide. We want to have resources that are going to come in and help the people who are eventually putting them into some type of housing. Okay? And then be able to clean the park because it's got some needles, all kind of stuff. Right? So that's our goal. Okay? And then identify in the short term, what barriers and everything you all are comfortable with taking down for medical access. Them are the three things we want to explore in depth with y'all. So moving forward, y'all can convene with your committees and you talk about that, and we can get back to you this afternoon, and you guys let us know what
That would be,
How
or
about this?
even on homelessness. I think that we did want people coming
at
at
8
8
o'clock.
at 8 a.m.
Is that okay?
I think so. Let's open these negotiations again. Wednesday, 6, 7 a.m. tomorrow.
Oh, well, hey,
Simply because
you're not
it will
going to
take
force
some
your
time.
hand, yeah. If you're going to get consensus,
Exactly. We understand that you're talking to the three of us, but we won't move forward until we talk to everyone.
Respect,
who's
respect,
actual
respect.
representatives.
Yeah, respect. So
we have to talk to.
So you're coming back at
Well, I'm here every day.
I'm sorry, I have multiple people talk to me.
Right. I'm here every day. So, I mean, but if you all can come to today we're going to be at 8 with the homeless.
I have a question though. So both of y'all have a consensus? You two?
Every day. Every day.
What's the consensus then?
We'll talk later.
Both of y'all.
We'll talk later.
These are for the outreach.
They're all at the city. All three of these guys are
So
at
for
the
the outreach services today.
Yeah, she represents the mayor's office. This gentleman right here represents public utilities. The gentleman in front of you represents Department of Transportation. Director.
She's scared?
Hey, thank you, brother. That's what I'm here for.
Hey, that's all you need. That's all I need, brother. Thank you. I just want to know.
Okay. All right. You guys good with that?
I need it all the way down, please. I know y'all got to do it.
Let's get Amazon down here.
I just feel like the community is as a whole, right? And nobody's listening to each other at all.
That is the best way to do it. So now you guys come back to the rated, put it rated for us down, okay? But we need time to talk to our people. We're just a form of contact, like you said, right? Point of contact.
Bro, you making it sound like you make a meeting with everybody, bro.
Hey, look, bro.
Focus on this conversation, please.
We need to talk to the people that are protesting with us. Yeah. Every 72 hours, you guys come back. What's your concern, bro? Right?
Let's get Amazon down here and talk about homelessness.
It's not a
Well, they give me human services.
We're going to wait the
Let me warn them.
We've been soft season in there, you know, so we want y'all to be able to support.
Let me know that there's outreach services coming in, and they also might be.
We're not going to do that. And so,
The only people coming back at 12 noon today is the outreach people. But
I
the
mean,
other
they're ready to go at 8. Yeah, I mean, we have 8.
But as far as the barricades, yeah, 72 hours.
You guys discussed too what ones you're comfortable with, because when we meet, we want to move forward.
Exactly.
We want to make sure that you all are comfortable as a unit. That's what
I would say
is
so 8 a.m. today. Can we say noon just to again?
Yeah, we said noon.
So we can just talk to everyone, make sure they're not scared. Again, this is our community.
Yeah, nobody's gonna get kicked out.
These are just for outreach programs.
And that's their job is to come and provide a service for our homeless faction of our protest. So yeah, we'll be coming back later today to provide help for the homeless.
What do you feel?
Just 1 second.
Yeah, I think
definitely is our street.
a lot of people ready to go down. And I mean, it is
Let's get Amazon down here.
Country Doctor. We have a wellness clinic that's ready to go.
Beautiful.
And it's right down the street. It's 7:30.
Yeah, and so at 8 a.m. you have to understand, like, we are going to need to talk to them, make sure that our families that are at home understand what's coming. Understand it's not the officers. Understand it's not the police and officers. Understand that they only need to stay here if they want those services, and if they don't, we can put them somewhere else.
What's the thoughts about parks doing any cleaning up some of the parks? It's
We've
not
been
the
doing that nationally.
Would you be okay too if they did that?
They can help out.
Yeah, we'd love to. We'd also love to help with that.
Can I add one more thing?
Right, sure, Sam.
I think we're also, we heard the desire for something written about what our intentions are and what sort of the city feels is negotiable and non-negotiable, right? Because I think that's important to regulate as part of a discussion. But right now we have some vehicles in the park. Is it possible that we can remove all the vehicles from the park?
So I'm gonna say, you gotta give us the time to talk to you. I'm gonna be clear real quick. And this is a really important. No, I'm gonna be real clear. There's vehicles in the park on the North Park. That's our water lake. That's drinking water. That's health and life for the whole city, everybody here. So that's compromising that drinking water. Them vehicles fall through that lane, there's a problem. So them vehicles, like the minimum need to be removed off that portion of it, because they're on our drinking water, and everybody in the city lives off of that. So that,
So we can talk about moving away from that drinking water. We'd like to identify where that's going.
I'll show you.
Like I said,
we can actually get started. Yes.
and also thank you.
Can we reconvene like 30, 45 minutes from now? Just with the street workers so that you guys can see if we can start. I mean, again, these are folks who are really reaching out to homeless people who want to clean the park.
And thank you. We've been reaching out to these people as well. Thank you again for this.
They're noticed about. We feel like we can help them do more for the people. Actually do more for the people. So
They won't.
Yeah, so
30, 40.
I like compromise. So yes, 30 to 45 minutes, please. Thank you. 30 to 40 minutes.
So how do we connect
Okay.
City of Seattle against SPD. Thank you for standing in solidarity with us.
Great.
They're not. So just be fine.
Great.
Or shake your head. Fucking know it.
So what?
They're as corrupt as the next one.
I was there for like 30 minutes, but you did.
Yeah, laugh all you want.
No, I'm not laughing.
Any folks that we should give a heads up who are there right now. I want to give you guys the respect of time.
I'm about to do a quick run through, and then after we do everything, we'll do another one. Great.
some people that's the medics,
So we're going to break up real quick. We'll be there in 30 minutes.
Mr. Zimbabwe. Mr. Zimbabwe.
Alright, guys, go home.
Mr. Zimbabwe, could we speak really quickly?
Not right this moment. Sorry.
Could you just tell me what has been removed so far, if anything?
I don't think anything has been.
These are the same protesters that Director Zimbabwe, that Director over at Utilities, and Chief Scoggins have been meeting with for 3 weeks. This group of protesters right here have shown themselves to be extremely flexible. They always communicate and everything else. Why did the city just talk to these? If you guys are going to make a compromise now at 6 something in the morning, why didn't you just talk to them yesterday and draw out a map and make a compromise?
So we've been talking with folks, and we wanted to really get in for individuals experiencing homelessness, get folks to service. Today's Black Wellness Day, and how do we really do an increase in park cleanup, etc.
So you guys think that coming in at 5:30 in the morning to go and do that's the best way, as opposed to, I'm just saying, Director Zimbabwe talks to these people all the time, and not maybe that it's his job. You think that coming in at 5:30 in the morning, as opposed to Director coming up here maybe the last 2 days saying, hey guys, it's Black Wellness Day on Friday, this is what we want to do?
People who've been part of this the whole time, been out here, have been talking to people, have been explaining intentions.
I'm just saying, nobody knew, as far as whatever. I mean, we got lots of messages, a lot of media people, so many people here. We knew you were coming, you know what I'm saying? But all I'm saying is if you guys were coming here and you've got a relationship, and what I'm not putting it on you, Director Zimbabwe, I'm just saying someone like you has a relationship and you have all these intentions to do good things out here, which it sounds like, then why not, if you're going to negotiate with these guys anyway, why not just negotiate at your entry to do that?
We've been working with them for the past few days. We've had thousands of folks out here saying we really want to get folks in here. We want to.
I saw that. We help put the message out on Broadway and Pine, campus, everything.
Yep, and I think we have noticed some of these new barriers have gone up. On 13th, a new barrier went up. That barrier is not being used over there. And how, again, do we create an entire community that people can come and they can demonstrate and they can make their voice heard? And at the park, we've just seen an increase of individuals making services.
They definitely need services out. I can tell you myself, what we talk about is a lot of people that need services out. I mean, one last thing, I was other people here, one last thing for me, is it like, if you guys are going to come, because there's a lot of people who watch this, they want this taken care of, they want this moved. They just saw the city of Seattle, S-Tot, parks out here, start what they were doing, and now stop. So what do you have to say to people who literally watched this live at 5:38, saw bulldozers and everything moving in, and now you guys are stopping?
Well, we're going to be bringing, as you heard, folks into the park. Again, our focus has been community wellness, services, healthcare, free testing for individuals. So we are, again, I think that demonstrators did say that they are okay with individuals coming in to really directly offer those services.
Director Zimbabwe, can you explain at this point what workers from your department are doing here?
Yeah, folks are here. Our goal is to make sure that streets are passable, and that's been our goal the whole time. So we're prepared to do that. We're also able to continue to de-escalate with everybody and trying to find that right balance.
And how are the workers here working to ensure that streets are passable?
So our goal has been to remove some of the barriers that continue to get shifted and move to block traffic in the neighborhood and make streets passable.
So the intent this morning was to move some barriers, and now that's going to wait 72 hours?
I don't want to put timelines on it. I think we just had a productive conversation, and we're going to come back and have a productive conversation throughout the morning.
But the intent this morning was to move some barriers?
Yep.
You're not going to do that now?
We're going to come back in a little bit of time and talk to folks again. So I don't.
Yeah.
You should have said no comment.
Our media advisor back here.
Ma'am, I missed it. What's the position of the mayor's office on the 2nd precinct right now?
The second precinct.
Excuse me, the East precinct.
Well,
Early morning.
Any officers coming into the East precinct today?
And at what point might there be officers coming in?
Continuing to talk and discuss with folks, but as Chief Best said and as the mayor said, we really do want to allow people to peacefully demonstrate, but at the same time open up
We want it to be convenient for you guys
area
for the protest.
to small businesses and keep the park clean and accessible to everyone.
And what about the park? In general, what is the position of the mayor's office on the park? Does everyone need to clear out?
Well, again, we're here to offer services. Today's Black Community Wellness Day. We've been partnering with Black Lives Matter Seattle King County, Public Health Seattle King County, to really increase the amount of services that people have: healthcare, testing, food access, and for individuals.
What about all the homes?
Which of the protest demands is the mayor going to meet for Black Community Wellness Day? Are they going to defund the Seattle Police Department by 50% or 5%, as Durkin suggested?
Well, thanks for that question. We have been looking at the SPD budget, and we welcome any ideas from you all of what are specific things in the SPD budget that may
Demilitarize the police, stop the mass evictions, aka sweeps, that Durkin has been a proponent of for a long time, take a major portion of the police budget. There are many ideas, and I've been organizing this city for 8 years. Me and my friends have been in city council telling you these ideas. Please don't pretend like you don't know these ideas, like we haven't been telling them to you, and then roll up at 5:30 in the morning when everyone is tired and phones are dead, and act like that's a good faith gesture, and talk to us about those ideas and say, oh, we couldn't possibly know what those ideas are worth. You know those ideas. You can defund the SPD by 50%. You can meet our demands for Black Community Wellness Day, whatever you're calling it, right? Or you can continue to act in bad faith and bring people in at 5:30 in the morning without any warning and break community trust. Continue to break community trust. So what is Durkin going to do?
Other than step down.
We need to have a little bit of space. We've been talking for a little while.
Oh, now that's
Yeah, he had a little statement. That's it. That's all he had. That's a statement.
You
That's
get
all he
answer
had.
that? I didn't hear a question.
But why did you?
When in
Statement says question.
Doesn't
It's the
seem
same
like
thing.
a gesture
What?
of good faith. You could have informed the community.
Why
Why
did
did you
She
choose the
literally
5
just
in the morning?
deflected.
Yeah, we
She
actually
just
have been
deflected,
working.
bro. That's all it is. That's all she did. Deflected.
We're
Yo,
here on the ground.
yo.
Adrian
Hey.
on the ground.
They get it.
No.
What's your full name?
Stephanie.
Stephanie what?
Formas.
Spell that.
F-O-R-M-A.
And your
You
official
can pay all
title.
this up on
The mayor's chief of staff.
Mayor's chief of staff.
Mayor needs to step down.
Answer the question.
Yeah, for Black Community Wellness
Answer
Day,
the
the mayor needs to
question.
step down.
Answer the question.
Question or get the fuck out.
Answer the
Ms.
question.
Ms. Formas, when and where are the negotiations going to continue?
Again, I think we're just going to keep a conversation going with Angelica.
You said something like 8 o'clock at a certain location. Where?
I don't know if there's a specific location.
Social services, restroom cleaning, all that shit can be done, but no barriers are being moved today, and I promise you that.
All right, we're stepping outside of the border of Chop.
Understood. Yeah,
I'm sorry, we were just trying to have it.
Can you answer a question?
Answer the question. Stop deflecting.
No negativity. Any positive.
Stop deflecting.
She kept ignoring that question.
Let them talk. Let them talk.
Not ignoring, bro. It's like deflecting.
A couple of things. Even just in this moment, there were a couple of things that somebody came forward with. One, our people would wanting to provide the service of being clean, but we want you under your feet. We have so many bodies that are still willing to make sure to see what's right. But a part of this is proving to Seattle and to the world really that we can do these things ourselves. We don't want to look like this. So with your guidance, we'll do the cleaning. We'll do the cleaning. We don't need the city to do that, right? We'll do it.
I'm from Minnesota, so we will follow.
So if that's
we can do it together. How about that? Because we're going to work with you also, and that's the objective while we're down here. So we can do it together.
First, we're gonna see if we can't do it. We're gonna with your guidance.
I'm saying, like, we're here for the same reason. We provide public health safety services, and not our aspects are just SPD.
Then when you
provide sanitation, we provide garbage collection, so that's part of our mission.
And then as you come in, then you come with us as protesters and as individuals, members of the city, right?
Well, we're humans first. We're humans first.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're police first is to help clean up and everything. That's what I'm saying. We're humans before we wear our city title.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Hey, wait. I'd like to agree with that. However, the police don't seem to think that way.
And they're not coming.
I know, but the problem is, it's not just the police. It's actually a lot of people out there that have been following suit with that for a long time. So we don't get looked at as a human race. We get looked at as just a species of something that needs to be dealt with. And as that, I do not appreciate that. So we don't really need anybody telling us this to be done because we're smart. We can tell ourselves what
We clean every morning.
We need to take some responsibility and look at the situation. Because I'm tired of this question is senseless. What is it there for? What's it doing? Right?
And that's why with your guidance,
We'll work together. Let's negotiate this because, like you said, there's a lot going on right now. You guys have to convene their committee next action. We'll go ahead and reconvene and take into consideration.
One thing though is very imperative. It has become somewhat difficult to get in contact with our mayor at this point.
Yep.
We've offered, actually.
So in order the main reason why we're here is to get those demands met. When can we continue with these meetings? Again, even myself, who was there on that doorstep, who you met that day, I've been calling the Dominic Seals. I've been calling people like the call stopped.
So what I'm hearing, you all have a committee that we can sit down because forget the demands. It's going to take some long-term planning. To change policies and laws is going to take long-term. And it doesn't seem reasonable just to sleep our hands all that.
Exactly.
We have to come to a common ground and understanding that that's the goal, that's the mission. But we're going to have to reconvene, and you guys are going to have a committee that's going to be hard set on making long-term change.
And I think that it's two things. I think it's two things. Yes, of course we understand that some of these changes will take time, but there are certain things on those demands that are immediately actionable, such as the 73 officers that are still in the force of SPD and have multiple charges against them. That's an immediate thing that can be done. I was going to say the exact same thing. And with that council,
Exactly. Another point to what you're saying, which is freeing all the protesters as well. That's immediately after.
And beyond that, amnesty for protesters. Not just
expunging their record.
You guys provide the list, you provide your wants, and then we can negotiate and come up with a
And I got one more thing to say.
We have provided that list.
And also work for long-term change.
Exactly. As well as regular.
That was a fist bump.
As well as
yes, you do. What? Have you ever sent a daughter from home or using Zoom? Come on, bro. Come on,
we understand that, and it sounds like we are officially at the time, which everyone's negotiating. That's beautiful.
I have a question. Are you guys trying to change the system as well? The system, because the police, their purpose is to serve and protect, right?
Yes.
And we agree with their purpose, but we do not agree with them because of what they've been doing. They have not been serving and protecting. Actually, they've been harassing and confusing.
Harassing and murdering.
So, being as such, I would like to make it known that I wish that the police would have more supervision when it comes to their training and make sure that they're actually following their training, because when they're on these streets, they disregard all of it. And that's where the harassment steps in, and I'm tired of this. And at some point, we're gonna fight back. It's been peaceful, but you're pushing us to the edge. And as you can see, as a black people, as a whole, we have been calm. If you haven't noticed. So we are not living up to the stereotype that we're violent and dumb. Because you see how calm we've been. You see what we've been doing.
Yeah, that's why we came in here. Try to so if we didn't come in here with the police, you know.
He actually has been here almost every day.
Right.
Yeah.
We haven't came in with the police or anything. Understanding that we've been flexible and you guys, we respect what you're saying and that we're on the same page. So I think a lot of this that we're talking about is going to have to be talked more in depth, you know. And right now, you guys have to convene with your people, ensure that Stephanie and others in departments have to got workers to say, hey, let's go ahead and reconvene at another time. So
Totally.
two things
Sit down and talk. That's the main thing.
Right.
Sit down and talk. What you were saying? You were saying that the training itself is not enough, and that the officers don't. Okay. And that the officers themselves don't follow the training.
Exactly.
And I just wanted to point out an example of that for people who don't know. I believe it was in San Carlos that the police department shot their own anti-bias trainer in the testicle with a rubber bullet, and he may not be able to have children. Right? So we've seen time and time again, that's just one example, that's just the most recent example that I know of, right? We've seen time and time again, training is not enough.
They're acting like children. They have a badge, but they act like children.
Real quick, real quick, please. Reform is not enough, we're seeing that, and defunding is the only answer. I mean, we brought that back to my question before that you did not answer, right? You said that it was Black Community Wellness Day, was that what Mayor is calling? Okay. For Black Community Wellness Day, how much is the mayor going to commit to cutting the Seattle Police Department budget by? 50% like our demands, or 5% like she has suggested?
So this year, we sold out our rebound package, and I hear your frustration. For the rest of the year, it's actually 2%. It's 5% of the budget. We weren't expecting to set a budget down. But last week, we asked our city budget office of really let's look at the budget. Are there things in there that make sense? Like our community service officers, I think we can all agree that CSOs are the exact type of officers that we want in our community. They're not armed. And continue programs like that. How do we take an honest look at looking at our sworn officers?
I'm just trying to call out gestures of bad faith when I see them. Okay. And it seems like we're kind of taking people who are putting money into Alex Peterson, who ran against Sean Scott, who was trying to drastically expand the community service officer program. So, right, so you got to follow the money and see where it leads and see if the mayor is actually behind her words. And it seems like a lot of her words are empty. So you can understand the community mistrust, right? And a lot of people are calling for her to resign, right? So she's really got to put her money where her mouth is in terms of meeting those demands, which is why I'm asking, not based on she's best, right? Not based on asking the police how much you want the police
is the one who actually went around the mayor to gas him.
Not based on asking the police chief how much they want to be cut, but based on the protesters' demands, how much is the mayor actually going to cut SPD budget?
Yeah, and
50% or the 5%?
I just said I don't have an answer at this moment. Like, we are looking at the budget, and I think that
take away their guns. They have tasers.
She gave you a response.
You stated something.
Yeah, I think that there's an honest conversation to really have in the next. We have our 2021 budget that we will be rolling out in September. That is a deadline, a milestone by the city charter. We have to roll out the mayor's budget. And so, as we're looking at the types of officers that respond to an incident, we also want to make sure that we're then, if we're decreasing this part, that we're increasing the community investments. Like I said, Health One, I don't know if you're familiar, it's Chief Scoggins' team, that whenever someone calls 911, they pull up as a mental health, social worker, and a firefighter.
Are they armed?
No. And that's the exact type of program that we created, that as we're increasing that component and we're decreasing this component. And I really think it's important that we don't want to be hollow and say, yes, we can reduce SPD's budget by taking the Office of Emergency Management out of it. That's hollow. Exactly. And so I think we'll give you a number of things that what we actually want to do is change when someone calls 911 to see shows. And I mean this sincerely. I mean, and I understand the mistrust, but that's actually our end goal. And I think we do need some time to look at that ratio of, okay, do we need more mental health workers? Do we need more firefighters in the do we need individuals who have experience in domestic violence? It's not this easy bumper sticker slogan of just defunding. It's a conversation that we need to have.
I think something that I think that honestly, not just the people of Seattle represent Seattle, but the world we're seeing right now is you have so many citizens in the city who want to be part of this conversation. It's not just the people who've been on the camera, it's not just the people who've been here right now. So as these decisions are made, as these negotiations, as this audit is happening, we're listening.
Police Chief Carmen Best is in the area right now. Where? Does anyone have confirmation, and where? It's a live look at discussions between leaders of CHOP. The city moved in with Department of Transportation workers. It appeared that they're going to start clearing out CHOP.
I know that, but what's the decision?
Well, we don't really have decisions yet, other than there are going to be more negotiations. So there are negotiations between the leaders of CHOP and the chief of staff of the mayor's office, the director of the Department of Transportation, and someone from utilities.
Okay.
And people are just having a conversation right now. No, I do not think the chief of police is here. And it's Carmen Best, a woman. They're fire officials? Oh, is this the fire chief?
We don't trust them. There's no resources here.
Chief Scoggins, I'm with Fire Chief Scoggins here.
And this is what we're trying to do, the engagement process of what it looks like, and I would love to hear your feedback. And we're also looking at a place on Capitol Hill that we want to be a community space, that people can come to town halls, come to events, have work groups where people can go solve problems. So we do, and there's the chief right there.
Chief.
No, I'm not Pete. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to y'all.
Chief, could you explain how the fire department's involved in the activity right now in CHOP?
We're in support mode right now. I'm trying to understand what the plan is.
There's no plan.
Okay. So that's Fire Chief Scoggins saying that he's in support mode right now, or the fire department is in support mode right now, and he's simply trying to understand what the plan is. Again, that it's Fire Chief Scoggins, head of the Seattle Fire Department, standing on the outside of this circle. He says he's trying to understand what the plan is.
There's no plan. There's no plan.
Hi. And this is Director Zimbabwe Fire Chief Scoggins, Ms. Formis, Chief of Staff from the Mayor's Office.
Hey, it's good to see Chief Scoggins next to you, just to let you know.
Chief, what's your feeling about today? Why did they come in so early without warning the community first?
So why did you need bulldozers for a conversation? I see.
Now they said there's a meeting in 20 minutes.
Where's the meeting?
So what's the next step, man? Do you feel pressure from President Trump? The other day in his speech, he wanted to bring him down. I mean, what's going to happen? What's your big picture? What's the big picture? Your focus?
Sorry.
Watch yourself.
Wellness Day. We want to make sure everyone in the community has access to services, healthcare, and we
So, to the right, Fire Chief Scoggins is foremost from the mayor's office, heading, I believe, to the fire station. That's right around the corner from here.
Going up to 13th and
So here's 12th Street, and indeed you can see the bulldozer. So S-Tot, Seattle Department of Transportation workers, out here with a bulldozer as the fire chief and his foremost from the mayor's office head toward the fire station around the corner from here at 13th and Pine. At least that's what they said they'd be doing. Meanwhile, you've got S-Tot workers and a bulldozer, two bulldozers out here on 12th with the abandoned East Precinct of the Seattle Police Department right there, as well as the entrance to Chop. Meanwhile, we have protesters trailing the crowd.
I would hate to see them in a regular uniform, but they're cutting up all their stuff and everything. That's their swag. It gets hot, though. Yeah, I bet it does. I bet it does. So, as we can see, you know, Chief.
All right, to give a little context, the head of director of S-Tot, Sam Zimbabwe, has been out here. And it appeared these workers were going to start dismantling Chop, but instead they met resistance and negotiations have resumed. And protesters are now gathering at the corner of Pike and 12th. Chanting, "Whose streets are streets?" I mean, as S-Tot workers stand by, not really doing anything other than standing and watching. The director of their department is in ongoing negotiations with the leaders of Chop. Protesters chant, "Whose streets are streets?" Meanwhile, I believe the chief of staff of the mayor's office and Fire Chief Scoggins have made their way. Oh, now we have SPD out here. I was about to say chief of staff of the mayor's office and Fire Chief Scoggins made their way. Oh no, they're back out here. So we have Seattle Police. Jay Brooks, Lieutenant Jay Brooks.
And make sure these officers are not getting inside.
This is that mistrust that we're talking about.
All right, here we go. Here's a standoff.
Are not getting inside.
Sam Zimbabwe, director of S-Tot, and D. Nelson of the police department.
If you can't step up and make this shit go away, then you're not in charge here.
Yeah, we can trust him.
Yeah, we can trust him.
That's what I have that under control. I have that under control. Have a good day, officers. Don't come back.
Lieutenant, can you explain what the role of the police department is right now in and around Chop?
We're here just to support S-Tot, who's trying to address some concerns within the area.
So you're not engaged at all with the protesters. You're not trying to reclaim the precinct. You're merely here to protect S-Tot. And do you know what the mission of S-Tot is at this moment?
Out of here with their trucks. Once you move behind the trucks.
Okay, and you're Lieutenant Brooks. Thank you very much, Lieutenant.
But you showed up to the crime scene after we had already taken the victim to the hospital. And you claim that we prevented.
As a protester screams, "Fuck off! Don't come back!" to Lieutenant Brooks and the other officer here.
Because of you did not save Lorenzo. That is on your head. Lorenzo's blood is on your head. What do you have to say about that? What do you have to say about that? Nothing. More white silence. That's all you have to say. You let Lorenzo die. That's all you do is let our people die. Bitch ass motherfuckers.
Don't kill my family. I'm not going to trust you.
Before the crowd get a little thicker. So, Lieutenant Brooks might want to just keep going because I don't want a lot more people to come over here. Angry people at that.
Do you have their badge numbers on photo?
I've already filmed them.
They definitely got their cams on today.
So I don't know if you guys could hear my conversation with Lieutenant Brooks. I think you could, but if you could not,
have a wonderful day, officer.
Lieutenant Brooks was saying that SPD is here only to protect S-Tot workers who now are moving around in the intersection of 12th and Pike. He said SPD is not here to engage with the protesters nor to reclaim the abandoned East Precinct. He said, Lieutenant Brooks said, SPD is only here to protect S-Tot.
We know you guys love cookies. We know that's what you're about.
This is what I'm saying. The conversation isn't new. And when they move like that, it's not fair to anybody on the ground. It's a fair situation. It's not fair over here to these guys.
So the crowd is moving. Just spit on the officers, or very close. Man just spit at the feet of the officers. I don't know if that spit hit him. Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, Omari Salisbury is out here. He's right around the corner. So you can see the two officers standing, watching as S-Tot seems to be driving away. One S-Tot worker gives me a wave as he drives away. It looks like S-Tot vehicles are moving on out of here. It appeared that they came in to clear out the streets, and now they seem to be cleared out. The man in the vest right here is director of S-Tot, Sam Zimbabwe. Mr. Zimbabwe, as you now see a bulldozer heading on out of here. S-Tot came in with trucks and bulldozers this morning, and now the bulldozers heading on out of here. I think this is a line of S-Tot trucks. Again, when I asked Director Zimbabwe what S-Tot's mission is here right now, he said it is to clear out the streets and allow for traffic to move through the area. Presumably that means dismantling most or all of Chop. because Chop is blocking traffic on multiple streets. And there goes a Seattle Public Utilities truck. And here goes another S-Tot bulldozer. This one going in reverse on 12th, crossing Pike, backing away from the entrance to Chop. Meanwhile, I noticed, but I haven't shown you yet, we've got SPD vehicles. It looks like 3 SUVs, and then I don't know if that's a police van as well, but it may very well be, given how it's parked. So it sounds like the engine's on and there's an officer in the driver's seat. Or officer in the driver's seat and in the passenger seat. Same with this police SUV. And this unmarked SUV likewise has an officer in the driver's seat and in the passenger seat. And there's a van, an unmarked van here as well that appears to be SPD. So you have 4 SPD vehicles here, 2 marked, 2 unmarked. They are sitting in wait on Pike. We are outside the boundaries of Chop, though just around the corner from them. Just around the corner from 12th and Pike, not Pine, which is where a bunch of S-Dot workers and vehicles have been gathered. And likewise, the leaders of the leaders of Chop and representatives from the city who are involved in the negotiation are also gathered here. Here's Mr. Zimbabwe. Again, Lieutenant Brooks, Lieutenant Brooks of the police department, who I think is still standing across the street. He said SPD is only here to protect S-Dot workers. Director Zimbabwe, the head of S-Dot, has said that S-Dot's role is to clear out the streets and allow traffic to pass through. Does that mean dismantling Chop? It would seem to suggest so, but negotiations resume.
I'm assuming yes. I'm assuming that is still the thing. In order to negotiate specifically just the social services that are coming through, and then future meetings. Yeah, but the barricades and stuff, that won't be decided for the next 72 hours.
Can we move the one that was set up?
Oh, like which one?
The 13th, between 12th and 13th, that had never been there before.
Oh, yeah.
Don't.
I'm saying once we confer with everyone else,
Yeah, it's blocking.
it's been set up literally since they've been there.
Okay, so
I
that's
think,
where...
I'm assuming, but again, we'll talk with other people.
Yeah, I think that one is blocking off all of 12th and 13th, and it hadn't been there before.
If anybody is listening and wants to help, we need walkie-talkies. They've all gone and disappeared. No, we do. We need to be able to communicate with each other.
Yeah,
These children are outside, just meandering all around, all by themselves. With this older gentleman.
We need help.
Sorry. Discussions right now between Chop, the mayor's office, and Fire Chief Scoggins. I can't change the title now. Or maybe I can, I don't know how to do that.
We don't just drive up in the middle of the crowd. That's not our operation. And I know even if people are telling us, we have to be disciplined.
This is Fire Chief Scoggins.
Of the chaos, even one of our next, we're not helping anything.
You didn't show up the other night, and we opened it up, and we okayed everything. Nobody showed. There was a guy in the building. Not one of our guys.
You're giving the typical response.
You guys did not show up.
That's fine. And we honor that protocol. However, in this scenario, everything had been opened up. We had live streams of everything, letting you know that everything was cleared up, begging you to say, hey, just come through. The shooter's gone. Even still, when the SPD did roll through, because just to the point of showing it that the barricades weren't brought through, SPD rolled through, and even still medical didn't come.
We were on one-way line. Our dispatch tapes, every caller who took a call, we said take the patient to Broadway and Town. Every caller who called, we were held up right there, right behind them. That's always our plan, is we get to a safe space where we can treat a person. We can't treat a person in the middle of the crowd.
And to the point, the young man was never in the middle of the crowd. They were always outside next to the
ambulance never showed up.
No, it didn't.
The ambulance did park 5 blocks away.
It was a block away.
Oh, that is true. Actually, that is true. Understood.
Right now, they're discussing or arguing over the response to the shooting several nights ago.
And we also talked to the EMS personnel all week as I've been coming through. We told them what our plan was. We gave them equipment to carry a patient to us. We gave them what's called mega.
Oh my God!
We gave them what they needed.
Did you really just say that?
Yes.
So it's what the truth is.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to tell you what the truth is.
To our understanding, no, exactly, and I appreciate the answer. To our understanding, legitimately, we had cleared all ways. We were just simply waiting for it, and it's so sad that this miscommunication between people, with the I guess impediment of that the SPD being there, caused that young man to die.
Well,
and I hope that we can all.
I can't speak if that's actually the case, but our medics had people running up and banging on the rigs with weapons. So you expected them to drive into the scene?
It was open. Everything was
It was open. And
I'm just telling you.
Brother, I'm saying it's open because it's not just the protocol, this is protocol all around the world.
Yeah, it is protocol.
Okay? We have to understand where they're coming from. We can't
And
just
we do.
say, you guys didn't want to help.
In the future,
hold on, David. Even when people approach our rigs,
Fuck the police, man.
hanging on the rigs with weapons, our people held firm on Broadway and Town, very disciplined, because we expected that for the case. They didn't run away, they were right there. If you listen to the 911 dispatch tapes, the tapes will clearly acknowledge that. Our messages throughout the week said, we will give you a point of reference. We will meet you there. We had people on the south end and the north end, or on the west side and the east side, trying to receive the patient.
And
we were there, but we weren't in, and that's not what we do.
So, do we want to walk down to see that makeshift barrier on 12? Is that right?
The bear, as they're having a long discussion or argument about the city's response to the shooting. Meanwhile, the mention of the barrier, I'll fill you in on that if you didn't catch that. The chief of staff of the mayor's office is asking that CHOP remove a new barricade that apparently has been set up right around here since the city workers showed up this morning. And the CHOP leader, or one of the leaders or representatives of CHOP who's in negotiations with the city, suggested he would remove this new barricade, but then backed off that position a bit. Although I'm not sure which new barricade they're talking about, because there's been a barricade here. Maybe it was partially removed yesterday, I forget. But there's been a barricade here for some time. As protesters start chanting, "We don't trust you." And to fill in those who are just joining, the city showed up with bulldozers and S-Tot workers here on a mission to clear out the streets for traffic. That's why it appeared that they're starting to dismantle Chop. The Bulldozers have since backed out, as have most, if not all, of the Seattle Department of Transportation vehicles and workers, doing so with police standing by protecting them. Protesters behind me chanting, "We don't trust you." So Fire Chief Scoggins, with his assistant chief, I believe, now meeting with leaders and representatives of CHOP.
We don't trust you. We don't trust you.
Good morning, Magic Monkey. Okay, so the city requesting to take a look at the makeshift barrier, which I'm not sure which makeshift barrier it is, and she's already requested that it be removed. The man in the vest right here is Sam Zimbabwe, director of S-Tot. Mr. Zimbabwe has already told me that the mission of S-Tot, or he said that S-Tot is here to clear streets for traffic.
So if you guys give me what time, you will be okay. So I can get if it's only this one, and for now, it's this one. Just that one, and then
And we'll come back.
Then we come back in 72 hours and we can do it.
Yeah, and I think we had already agreed that this officer.
Yeah. It was just for safety defense for one day that we had where we had to pay. Some shit might go down. Yeah.
So I think if we should do that, and then
We're not removing nothing. It stays in place.
Ms. Form, it's Form, right? Form is, I'm sorry about Ms. Form is what?
You have to tell me what to do to it.
Ms. Formis, why is the city requesting that this barrier be removed?
organizers on the current format right now. If you look, it's around the East Precinct, and then it's on 10th and 11th. The concrete blocks.
So you've already worked with CHOP to get those blocks removed?
Yeah, the organizers right now, but again, these, as you can see, the barriers that have been set up, we have worked with the organizers, Chief Scoggins, and Sam, who have been looking at that, and this has been.
So right now is the mayor's office position only that this barrier right here needs to be removed, or that other barriers are also need to be removed?
We want to continue to increase access. I do think that we believe that individuals can keep demonstrating. It's a protest.
But you are requesting that incrementally the barriers be removed.
That's correct. We want to continue to allow people to demonstrate, but we also want to keep individuals safe and residents to have access to the community. Again, this is a new barrier that has come up. So then meet the demand.
And again, for the audience, you're the chief of staff of the mayor's office. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Okay, so Ms. Formis, chief of staff of the mayor's office, is requesting that right now this barrier, which I guess is a new barrier to some extent. They had a barrier or barricade here, but it wasn't fully filled in. She's now requesting that it be removed. And you heard it also that the mayor's office position is that incrementally CHOP remove all of these barriers or barricades. Again, this lady is Ms. Formas, Chief of Staff of Mayor Jenny Durkin's office. And I guess for those, oh, sorry about that. With respect to the question of whether the city is beginning to dismantle CHOP, it's pretty clear that time to dismantle much of CHOP. There have been a lot of discussions earlier, some of which I've recorded, about handling the situation over at Cal Anderson Park. I'm going to try to head over there at some point soon, but let's...
I can say this shit right here! Red strike!
Don't forget about the oppression. You know what the oppression is about?
We can talk about red strike right here!
What's going to happen afterwards?
Right now we're talking about economic pulled out.
All right, thank you, sir. This man says he's concerned about oppression and being microchipped.
I hear what you're saying.
So right now you have Miss Formas, Chief of Staff of the Mayor's office, walking side by side Fire Chief Scoggins. You've got a fire station right over here, but
Is that the puppet master right there? That's our puppet master. Yeah, you said your black bodies up front. We said our fucking white bodies up front.
Hey, unless you're security or press. Yo, unless you're security or press, let's stay back. I think everyone here is security or press.
Lay them out. Lay them out. It's global, guys. You ever been to Kurdistan? You know what those guys are doing? They're fucking on their way, guys. It's global. You understand? SPD. Where can I see your feet? You guys are
it's
on your way
youtube.com/Josh Friedman FMP. Or you could just type in Josh Friedman, Friedman, into YouTube.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we have Fire Chief Scoggins, Ms. Formas, Chief of Staff of the Mayor's office, and I believe the Assistant Fire Chief walking with, as well as Sam Zimbabwe, Director of S-Tot, walking with protesters chanting behind them.
These are firemen, but what should the police be charged for? War crimes. Yep. Oh, there they are. There's our homeboys. What's up? You missed me, motherfucker?
So again, as I showed you earlier, we have 4 Seattle Police Department vehicles here, 2 marked, 2 unmarked. Here are the 2 unmarked. Here are the 2 marked, and I could see an officer in both the driver's seat and passenger seat of each of these vehicles. Also, I spoke earlier with Lieutenant Brooks of SPD, who told me that the role of SPD here at the moment is only to protect the S-Tot workers, and there are still some S-Tot workers remaining, though not many. See S-Tot workers right here. I think Lieutenant Brooks is standing behind them, as well as another officer who's been here alongside Lieutenant Brooks for maybe a half hour, an hour, I'm not sure. But most of the S-Tot workers have cleared, most of the S-Tot workers and vehicles have cleared out. Right over here you had 2 bulldozers and quite a few S-Tot vehicles and workers. They have cleared out. Well, let's cross over Pike. We're on 12th. I should say that those S-Tot vehicles and bulldozers cleared out of the area right by the entrance to Chop, but they're not out of this area altogether. So I'll give you another look at the vehicles as we walk by Lieutenant Brooks sitting on an unmarked SPD SUV. You can see the bulldozer and at least a few large S-Tot trucks. Oh, here's another SPD vehicle. So with officers in the front and the back. This officer's rolling up his window in the back. I count at least 5 total SPD vehicles, and down the street across what I think is Madison, you have another row of S-Tot vehicles. So we have lots and lots of S-Tot vehicles. The S-Tot vehicles and workers moved in on Chop early this morning with a couple bulldozers. It appeared they were about to clear out parts, if not all of Chop that lie in the streets, and then they backed off. They backed off. They were confronted with protesters, and negotiations have resumed as SPD vehicles now turn left off of Pike onto 12th, with a crowd of S-Tot workers standing here and a protester chasing after these SPD vehicles, marked and unmarked. A quite musically talented protester, I should add.
Bitch asses, who are they?
What time is it?
It's just you have to repark the car.
Oh, no, you don't need to repark it. We just need to
Balls
pay.
haven't dropped yet. I don't deal with them.
I'll go with you. I'll just take a little break from the action. All right, guys, setting the scene one more time. Here's, to some extent, the center of the action at the moment. 12th and Pike. You have an entrance to Chop right over here on 12th. That's an entrance to Chop, and across the street at what I think is the southeast corner of the intersection, you have S-Tot workers standing with police officers protecting them, and the bulldozer and S-Tot trucks remain lined up.
What should they be charged for?
The chant is, what should they be charged for? War crimes.
What should they be charged for?
War crimes! You killed my friends!
Gentlemen,
You fucking
what
killed my
should
friends! Where's
be
Sam?
charged for?
Where's Sam? He's laughing about Sam. Sam's fucking dead! She died! Laughing about your head. I will have your head. I'll fucking mount it and put it on a fucking wall. War crimes, you understand? This is no fucking joke. I'm shitting on your front door right now, by the way, you motherfucker. We own this shit. I'm gonna own your fucking house soon. I'm gonna drive that fucking car. You think I'm joking? You thought it was a joke when I said that we would own the police precinct. You thought it was a joke. Hey, he's good. He's good. Nothing I'm saying here is a joke. Do I look like I'm joking? You fucking strapped me down and injected me with that shit. Because I was crazy. You haven't fucking seen crazy yet, Mark. You haven't fucking seen it. You're not even. Mark, more like a Mark-ass bitch.
So conversations between an officer and this is Lieutenant Brooks here, who I spoke with earlier. Lieutenant Brooks, can you share what the recommendation is?
We're basically about ready to leave the area.
SPD's about ready to leave the area. Okay, and is there a reason why?
We're trying.
Then this is Lieutenant Brooks with Seattle Police Department. Earlier he told me that it's SPD's job and role here to merely protect S-Tot. So now the recommendation is that S-Tot leave the area, and is there a reason why? Is it unsafe or other reasons?
At this point, no. They're in standby mode here. I had a copyright conversation.
Is it unsafe for S-Tot to be here right now, or are they just not needed? Okay, thank you. No.
We just don't want to have. We don't want to have any kind of conflict at all. So we don't want to have anybody to come to any problems.
So the tensions are rising, and you'd like to cool the tensions. Okay, thank you very much. So the trombone or whatever that musical instrument started playing, and Lieutenant Brooks said that the tensions are rising here at the intersection of 12th and Pike, and he wants to cool the tensions. And he's saying that he's getting ready for both S-Dot and SPD to depart. Let's go handle this situation. Can you write down Lieutenant Brooks? So I've spoken multiple times this morning with Lieutenant Brooks, also with Sam Zimbabwe, the director of S-Dot. Oh, it's a trumpet? Yeah, thank you. And there it goes again. This one individual protester, the blonde hair, is continuing to confront Lieutenant Brooks and other SPD officers who are present, but Lieutenant Brooks is saying that he wants the situation to cool down, and he's getting ready for both SPD and S-Dot to head on out of here. As I've already shown you, that the S-Dot trucks have backed away from the barricades on 12th between Pike and Pine, but they're still parked a block and 2 blocks away, so they're not gone yet, but S-Dot has already backed off quite a bit. It appeared that S-Dot had come in here early this morning with the job of clearing out much of what's in the streets in Chop, but the city workers who came out here were confronted by protesters, and negotiations ensued, and the city for now is backing off, at least backing off with clearing stuff out. Ms. Formis from the mayor's office, the mayor's chief of staff, has requested that the protesters remove one new barricade that was set up, I believe this morning, but possibly last night. That's over by 12th and Pine. Oh, here's Ms. Formis. Here's the city leadership that's been negotiating with Chop. So you have on the phone here in the hard hat and vest, that is Director Zimbabwe, head of head of S-Tot. You have Fire Chief Scoggins, and you have Ms. Formis, the mayor's chief of staff, at a rather calm moment for them where they're not being confronted with protesters. They are being filmed by Annabelle. So they're walking and talking. They've been the ones spearheading the negotiations this morning on the part of the city, along with a representative of the utilities department who's not here at the moment. The representative of the utilities department seemed to be mostly discussing matters related to Cal Anderson Park, which is located straight ahead of me, as you've got a S-Tot worker in a vest and hard hat walking by. You can see another man in a vest. I'm not sure if that's an S-Tot worker ahead. The representative of the utilities department was discussing issues with regard to the city's water supply, that he says the vehicles parked at Cal Anderson Park are posing a threat to the city's water supply. And then there are also lots of discussions with regard to homeless issues. In fact, here is that representative of the utilities department. Let's see if we can get a brief interview with him, although I need to feed the meter. Excuse me, sir, are you at the utilities department? Can you just explain the issue with the water supply and how the vehicles pose a threat to the water supply?
Just the weight on any kind of vehicles, just vehicles in general. I won't hold off with it though. I'm a little bit tired.
I understand you're tired. I just think that the water supply is the biggest issue over there, and I just wanted to ask you how these vehicles pose a threat to the water supply.
I think anytime that you have a certain amount of weight on something, they could potentially, weight limits and so forth. That's what's more concerning.
What do you mean by weight limits? There's too much weight from the vehicles on the field, their pipes.
It's not the field. It's on the back end over there.
Okay.
You should go walk around and.
I've walked around, but I'm no public utilities expert.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not with the water portion. That's why I can't speak on it.
Oh, okay.
I just know that there's a lot of infrastructure around here that can be compromised when you drive cars onto the park.
What is the primary issue that you could speak to at the park?
Excuse me? I'm not a parks employee.
Or what is the primary issue you could speak to with regard to utilities here at Chop?
This conversation, I appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, there you have it. Apparently I look less inviting than other media here, but he looks very tired. I think he got out here very early this morning. I will head back I need to feed the meter really quickly. I'm not cutting this live stream. And then I'll head back out to Cal Anderson Park, show you a look at that, and find whatever confrontations are going on, if there still are going on, between city workers and officials and members of Chop. Parking meter. Usually I walk out here, but this morning I had to jump out of bed and drive over here. The bulldozers were out. I showed you 2 bulldozers. the bulldozers were parked. The bulldozers were parked right at the edge of Chop, right next to a barricade. It sure looked like the city had come in early this morning with the intent of clearing out much of Chop, or much of what lies in the streets in Chop, and then the city backed off. Magic Monkey says I'm a good boy for feeding the meter. Hopefully.
Magic Monkey is already on? Hey, good morning.
Anything you'd like to say? You've been filming a lot already.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen the guy with the trumpet. That was he said he's going to die today.
Did he? I didn't hear him say that. This
really,
is the blonde man with the trumpet who was
he's
screaming at
willing
police.
To die today on CNN. So.
I don't know if CNN's out here.
I know, it just said it.
AP is out here. AP's been out here since early in the morning. Some other media have been coming in as well. Actually, we can move into I'd rather move into the parking structure. So just a quick parking adjustment, then back out the Chop. Again, I normally walk out here. They're asking what's your channel. I'm saying that to Annabelle. Annabelle's channel is Romika. Annabelle, Romika spelled R-O-M-I-K-A. All right, I'll give you a little guidance. So we're just about a block and a half, maybe 2 blocks away from Chop right now. Quick parking adjustment. Then we're heading right back into Chop. And we'll go right, Romika, R-O-M-I-K-A. Okay. Yikes. Someone. Annabelle's on IMDb. Yeah. We're just adjusting the car so we don't get ticketed or towed. There's a lot of structure right here. And then we'll be back in Chop in just like 3 minutes. Yeah, we should get a tick. What does it say?
Over here?
Oh, we get one over there. Yeah, just park and then we'll get a.
Just here?
Anywhere. Oh, as long as there's not a sign saying don't park here.
Reserve.
Alright. Alright, we'll be back in Chop momentarily. We're 2 blocks away from Chop.
Doesn't matter, I can get some money.
Say one thing back. Okay, do you have the card? Just paying for parking here at this structure 2 blocks away from Chop, then we're heading back. In the meanwhile, I'll take a look at comments and I'll answer any questions you have with regard to what's been happening this morning. I know the title says City Begins Dismantling Chop. Maybe that turned out to be not so accurate. Yeah. But then again, maybe it is, because the Department of Transportation has said that it intends to clear out the streets to allow vehicle traffic to pass through. It appeared that they started doing that early this morning and then stopped once confronted and once pressure started to mount. Likewise, the mayor's office is requesting that the barricades be removed and is in negotiations with the protesters about removing the barricades. Well, they're in negotiations with all kinds of things, and some of those negotiations have been filmed live on this stream. Yes, requesting, not ordering. I am seeing, I'm multitasking, but I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat. Oh, maybe I don't have that. Maybe I don't have it on the right setting. Okay, now I'm on live chat. So, yeah, I would say that the city is requesting, not ordering, that barricades and other things in the street be removed. It appeared that they had come out this morning to remove them, but then they stopped and went back into negotiations and started asking Chop to remove barricades and remove objects that are in the streets blocking traffic in Chop. We're now just a block away from Cal Anderson Park. I'll give you a look at Cal Anderson Park, which is also a major part of negotiations, and it's one of the things they were discussing earlier, they being the 3 individuals who have presented themselves as the leaders of Chop, who are in negotiations with the city as well as city officials. They're talking a lot about homeless issues over at Cal Anderson Park right now, about sanitation issues over there. The Ms. Formis, was talking about providing social services to individuals who are living at Cal Anderson Park right now, and we're walking right into Cal Anderson Park at the moment. And likewise, there were the leaders of Chop in discussions about which social services to provide. At some point, I think you can see earlier in this stream that they were requesting or demanding certain social services be provided here at Cal Anderson Park. And as I was trying to discuss with the utilities director, actually, I don't know what his role is. I don't even know his name. I'm sorry about that. But the representative of the utilities department was at some point discussing water issues here, and when I tried to interview him just about 10 minutes ago, he was talking about the weight of vehicles and maybe other objects or people, not on the turf field here, but up a ways at Cal Anderson Park, where a lot of people have been sleeping in tents. And I think he was suggesting that poses a threat to the water supply. I'm no utilities expert or water expert, so I'm not sure exactly what threat is posed to the water supply, whether you've got vehicles parked on top of pipes or what, I don't know. But This.
I'm an architect, and I can tell you there's not really an issue. I studied architecture in Germany. So when they say this is an issue for the water supply, that cars are standing here, it is a lie.
I don't know. There's the noise you hear in the background is a generator. So here we are at Cal Anderson Park in the gardening area. A lot of tents. I'm going to point the camera down as I typically do when I walk around here. It's common courtesy here, if not de facto law, not to point the camera inside people's tents. But you can see there are a lot of tents that remain here in the gardening area. Lots of people still camped and living here in Cal Anderson Park. And this is one of the focal points of negotiations. It seems as though the city is trying to push people out of the park. This might be the area where the utilities representative was referring to. I'm not positive. But it seems as though the city is trying to push the people camping here out of the park, push the protesters out of the park as well. For now, it seems like the city is trying to push the protesters to simply congregating around the abandoned East Precinct, which seems to be their crown jewel. And the protesters, they being the protesters, and their main bargaining chip with the city. The city says it plans to reclaim the abandoned East Precinct and give it back to the Seattle Police Department, or restore SPD's control of the precinct. The protesters, at least for now, are unwilling to abandon their occupation outside, not inside the precinct. And the precinct, I think I heard one protester say earlier that the precinct is non-negotiable at this moment. But at the same time, it really seems like the precinct is at the center of the negotiations. Maybe not yet, but it certainly will be at some point. Unless the city just comes in with force and retakes the precinct. But at least thus far, the only force the city has shown willingness to use, or at least temporarily showed willingness to use, has been the fleet of bulldozers and vehicles, as well as the manpower of S-Tot, the Seattle Department of Transportation. The police officers who showed up here this morning, at least according to the Lieutenant Brooks, who I spoke with, the officers have only been here for the purpose of protecting S-Tot. And it really looks like that was the only thing they were doing. I mean, granted, they might be gathering information and intelligence, but SPD did not move on Chop. They did not move into Chop this morning. You just had some officers and SPD vehicles gathering outside of Chop, keeping an eye on the area where S-Tot workers were. And Lieutenant Brooks, when I spoke to him the second time, said, and that was about 20 minutes ago, something like that, Lieutenant Brooks said that it seemed like tensions were rising and he wanted to defuse the situation, and he said it was about time for S-Tot and SPD to get on out of here. So we're heading back over to 12th right now, where SPD and S-Tot were gathered, and we're in somewhat of a confrontation with protesters. Not so much police confronting protesters, but individual protesters confronting police. And let's see if SPD and S-Tot remain, or whether they have cleared on out of here entirely. Here's the abandoned precinct. This is the abandoned Seattle Police Department East Precinct, where the occupation remains pretty strong and steady. Not inside, but outside the building. Again, pointing the camera down because of general rules of engagement here, as I like to refer to them. And here is the abandoned precinct on the other side. And you've got tents set up outside here. Not videotaping anyone here at the moment. This was Eltana open before?
No.
I think this is
I've never seen anybody inside.
I think this is a new development. Anyway, we're on 12th, and just from some of the faces I'm seeing, but not showing you on camera at the moment, I'm under the impression that the situation has been diffusing in and around the intersection of 12th and Pike, where I'm headed right now. But let's go take a look for ourselves. Maybe it hasn't diffused. As I hear one person in Chop behind me, just stepped out of Chop right now. One person behind me in Chop saying we're boarding this up. I'm not sure what he was referring to. But yeah, it looks like SPD and S-Tot have cleared away from the intersection of Pike and 12th. However, I can see a bunch of S-Tot truck. Well, I don't know for sure if they're S-Tot trucks. Maybe they're not. Let's go take a look. I was gonna say I could see S-Tot trucks a block away from here, but maybe they're not. So Pike and 12th, where I was 20 minutes ago or so, and where a lot of the action has been this morning, has now reopened to traffic. Let's see if this is an S-Tot vehicle. This is an S-Tot vehicle, but it's driving away from the scene, and this line of S-Tot vehicles that had been right here where I'm pointing right now is now gone. There was a bulldozer parked somewhere right around here. Earlier, it had been parked down. We got to get out of the street. There's traffic. Earlier, it had been parked right. The bulldozer, actually 2 bulldozers, had been parked down there right outside the barricade and the entrance to Chop. The bulldozers were then moved down 12th away from Chop and had been parked here along with a line of S-Tot vehicles. The bulldozers are no longer on this block, nor are the S-Tot vehicles, but it looks like the line of S-Tot vehicles has been moved back a block. Let's go see if that's indeed the case, and there might also be a police SUV over there.
What's going on here?
I don't know what's going on here, but this doesn't look related. Other than maybe other than maybe a Maserati business trying to operate here amid all the chaos.
The dog is already scared. They should bring their dog home.
Yeah, the bulldozers were here, as were the S-Tot workers. They've now backed away. Oh, there's the bulldozer, one of the bulldozers. We're now at the corner of 12th and Madison, 2 blocks away from Chop. Maybe call it 2.5 blocks away from Chop. And let's go look at the vehicles and personnel here. I see workers in hard hats and orange vests. I don't know if they're with S-Tot, But first I'll show you the, oh, here are the police. Police in communication with S-Tot. Yes, it looks like police are in communication with S-Tot here. Oh, here's Lieutenant Brooks on the phone. Here's a police SUV. Here's a police van. The line of S-Tot says I'm told to get out of the street. And traffic it actually is open traffic here. More officers. We're about 2.5 blocks away from Chop, where the line of S-Tot vehicles and this bulldozer have been moved. This bulldozer was sitting at the edge. Oh, there's the other bulldozer. So now I've now found both bulldozers that earlier this morning had been brought to the entrance, one of the entrances of Chop, but they've now been moved away 2 to 3 blocks.
They're ready to pack some stuff.
See, it says Seattle Department of Transportation on there. And on this block of 12th, you have S-Tot trucks, SPD vehicles, and S-Tot and SPD in communication with one another. As I've been saying, Lieutenant Brooks, who I saw standing on the street, said that the role of the Seattle Police Department this morning has been solely to protect the Department of Transportation workers and not whatsoever to engage with protesters or to retake the abandoned East Precinct. As we have some workers raising the... You're paying them? Well, what would you like to say to the live audience? You guys are literally raising the roof?
No, we're cleaning it.
Oh, okay.
I got trouble already.
Alright, well, best of luck with the job, sir. These are not city workers. He's saying that the city workers are just standing around and using up tax dollars. There's across the street Lieutenant Brooks and other officers with S-Tot workers behind them. And it seems like tensions have been diffused for the moment, and for the moment the city is backing off. Granted, there's supposed to be negotiations continuing throughout the morning and possibly day today between city officials and I'll call them the leaders of Chop, the individuals representing Chop in the negotiations.
It seems like stores are opening up.
Well, we're a block or two outside of Chop. Yeah, right now we're a block outside of Chop. I'm walking back to the intersection of 12th and Pike, which has been a contentious location this morning, but now it seems to be calm there. something that I wanted to mention is that the city definitely came with the element of surprise this morning. They arrived early. I don't remember what time we got out here.
I heard that they arrived 5 a.m.
Yeah, I think the city workers arrived sometime around 5 a.m. this morning. I don't know exactly when, but sometime around. And they came with the elements of surprise and a lot of manpower and vehicle power. And that led me to believe that they were starting to dismantle Chop. But they were then confronted by protesters, and the city is backed off for now. Now we're on the edge of Chop where the bulldozers and S-Tot vehicles and personnel were earlier this morning. I will now pay attention to the chat. Let's see what people are saying. Those are hoes, not bulldozers. Maybe bulldozer is not the correct term. I don't know. But whatever those were, bulldozers or not, it certainly gave the impression that S-Tot was here to remove barricades and objects that are in the street here in Chop.
Excavator?
Or maybe someone's saying there was a large white bulldozer. Maybe I missed that one. Regardless of what exactly they were, it certainly seemed like the city came to dismantle Chop, or parts of Chop, and then backed off. What is this vehicle? Oh, he's a member of Chop. I recognize him, but that driver is bringing that Jeep in here in a hurry. As you can see, members of Chop open up the barricade for the vehicle to get in. Yeah, so I don't know what the right term is. Land excavators, bulldozers. Regardless, it sure looked like the city was starting to dismantle Chop, and it backed off. MD's asking, what do the protesters expect to get out of this? Well, if you watch, and I don't remember what point it was in the broadcast, but once I finished the stream, if you watch the replay, rather early on in the broadcast, I was right in the middle of negotiations, discussions, and arguments between members of Chop and city officials. And a lot of demands were being made by members of Chop, including but not exclusively the core demands of Chop. And for a refresher, I'll walk over to the abandoned... Where do I even enter now? I'll walk over to the abandoned precinct. Actually, they're on that sign out front. Let's go back over there to show you the list of demands. And I think I know them by heart by now. But I'll show you the sign with the list of demands anyway. There are 3 of them. But there were protesters making other demands. There were protesters demanding all kinds of things while speaking, negotiating, and arguing with city officials this morning. So here's what you find in front of the entrances to Chop. 1, defund SPD by 50%. 2, fund black communities. 3, free all protesters. But then other issues and other demands come up in the negotiations. As I've been saying, for now, the protesters are treating the abandoned East Precinct right over here as a non-negotiable asset that they're holding on to. There was a discussion at one point this morning where there was arguing between one of the representatives of CHOP in the negotiations and the chief of staff of the mayor's office, where the representative of CHOP was saying that something like only 5% of the SPD budget has been taken away, and that's not enough. And then I think the mayor's chief of staff was saying that they intend to defund by 10%, but CHOP is demanding defund by 50%. And then there are various members of CHOP who I don't think are even supportive of that demand and want SPD to be abolished. I'm taking a look at the chat. I don't know about this Broadway building. Thank you, Andy. I would say that it seems as though the city is incrementally taking steps to dismantle CHOP. There were a lot of talks during the negotiations this morning about what's going on in Cal Anderson Park. At multiple points, the mayor's chief of staff harped on the fact that today is Black... Oh, what was the name? Something like Black Well-Being Day or Black Wellness Day. I think she was saying it was Black Wellness Day. And she was saying that as part of the city's recognition of Black Wellness Day, as I point the camera down while I walk in the CHOP, that the city's going to provide increased social services to people at Cal Anderson Park today. And that led to some new requests for social services coming from representatives of CHOP in the negotiations, and I don't remember what social services they were requesting. There is an argument breaking out inside of CHOP at the intersection of 12th and Pine. I'm not so sure I can film this. Uh-oh, it looks like... Alright, there's a lot of screaming. A lot of people screaming, and I'm going to head over to where I think the AP is standing. And as people scream, no pictures. There's a lot of arguing going on here at 12th and Pine outside the abandoned police precinct. A lot of arguing and shouting. I'm not in your shot, am I? Yeah, I'm not trying to zoom in on Annabelle, but she won't get out of my shot. One man has his hands up. Argument ensues, though not as loud as it was. Of course, he's going to tell me you can't record. Heard this many times.
For legal reasons, we cannot implicate our medics.
Oh, he's saying medics are. Excuse me.
Appreciate it. I really appreciate it.
Excuse me. Could you?
We can't record our medics for legal reasons.
Can you explain the situation over here?
Yes, I am doing it.
Okay.
So we can't record our medics for legal reasons.
Hey,
We don't want to implicate them in something that could
Hey, you're wrong. He can record. Yes, he can. You know why? Because in a place like this here, there's no reasonable association with privacy. That's according to the law. He's free to record. I'm free to record.
Can you explain?
Thank you. You got that? Thank you. I'm watching other.
Wait. You said you'd explain. I'm not going to point the camera at them. Could you just?
I don't want to.
Whatever. Okay.
You know what I'm gonna say. I know, and I'm gonna make it real hard for you. I'm doing my job, unfortunately. You know, unfortunately, I can't be everywhere all the time. If I could, I would love to.
Whoa. All right, we've got some people getting violent toward either press or individuals here who are recording. And pretty much all the press is being forced on out of, maybe I should say the non-Chop approved press are being forced on out of here. Some people with cameras remain, though they're not pointing them at the action. And repeatedly you're having conversations like a journalist saying it's my duty to be here filming, and a member of Chop saying it's my duty to stop you. A conversation that's continuously happening. So I don't know what all is happening. I might have seen blood on someone's face, but I'm not sure of that. There is someone saying that the Chop medics are on scene in the area where these two tents are set up, right outside the abandoned precinct here at the intersection of 12th and Pine. Oh, but apparently Omari, is that Omari? Is that Omari? No, left, there.
Yes.
Okay, so apparently Omari can just stand and film in the middle of all the action. Oh, now someone's telling him to stop filming. But it looks like he continues filming. Yeah, so as I've been saying throughout the week, some people here have more filming privileges than others. And now some lady's about to come approach me if I don't point the camera down. I think that is Omari right there filming. Generally speaking, some people have more filming privileges than others. This lady's gonna push me on out of here. I'm pointing the camera down. We've got a lady insisting that I point the camera down. What's new? This is just happening all the time. That's the back of the lady who was just telling me to point the camera down. I don't really have any beef with her. If she doesn't do it, then 25 other people are going to come up to me and tell me to point the camera down or get out of here. As far as I'm aware, this is unrelated to what's been happening with the city. I mean, maybe the city coming in here this morning has caused certain tensions within Chop to boil over. I don't know. But it's It's hard to say what exactly is going on other than we're being told that CHOP medics are on the scene here outside of the abandoned police departments at 12th and Pine. Yeah, I'm about ready to go. Let's head on over to Cal Anderson Park. I'm walking through the intersection of East Pine and 12th, walking right by the abandoned precinct and the tent set up next to it. There's also a couch and a lot of chairs. It appears that the protesters are concentrating much of their activity and efforts outside the abandoned East Precinct right here. Oh, thank you very much. What did you think of what happened this morning? What did you think of what happened this morning?
You know what I think about this shit this morning?
Yes.
It's bullshit. If we say we have leaders that come together as one, you know what I'm saying? Then we come together like half-ass motherfuckers. Then somebody trying to beat everybody's ass. You see, we have cops, have a helicopter around, then they wave it back from there. We need to be in unity. This is not fucking together. They need to get this shit together.
What time did they arrive this morning?
You really want to know?
Yes.
6.
I heard 5.
I was up at 6.
Okay.
Where are you from? Guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen.
Das kostet sich das Ganze in die Spieler des Company in Sizer. We size it up.
Nice German.
Mannheim.
What do you mean by half-ass?
Hello, Germany. I'm from Mannheim.
What?
I'm just taking camera.
What do you mean by half-ass? Like only half of the group came to confront the police, or
no. I was knocked out over here. I'm right here, and nobody woke up down there. We're like, we need them to wake the fuck up. Everybody face still like chinchilla concert. Everybody getting high and shit all the time. Like, get the fuck up. We need to focus for the fight. We need to focus for our fight. Ain't nobody want to focus. I'm here fighting for my daughter's future.
Can you explain, like, what demands do you have? What exactly do you want to ensure for your daughter's future?
Stop killing us. Black, trans people, black people, period.
And what do you think about the negotiations that are going on? Should there be negotiations?
No, we should have them together as our leaders sit down with the community together and we vote for the decision.
So you mean the leaders of CHOP have some negotiation with the city, then all of CHOP votes on it?
No. Have the leaders and CHOP and the leads sit down around at the round table and make sure decisions is okay together.
All right. What do you think of the current demands?
It's bullshit.
You want more, like defund the whole?
Defund the fucking police and give the guys on trial for real and put their ass in jail.
Which guys? Cops who've killed, or all cops, or?
No, the cops who hurt the young girl, pepper sprayed that one girl we have the
here during the protests?
Yes, earlier this month.
And any other demands that you think really need to be addressed that aren't being addressed?
I don't trust the goddamn cops. I don't trust 5 cops. I don't trust the Federal cops. I don't trust the Coma cops because somebody got killed for the Coma. He got his knees on his neck too. Do you not get around the world? Stop putting your knees on our fucking necks. You know who I really respect as a leader? He's a real leader.
Explain, what makes Reverend Sharpton a real leader?
He's a real leader because he don't sit for the tulips. He was back then with the civil rights movement. him and Jesse Jackson. They marched with Martin Luther King. If Martin Luther King was still alive, he'd be very embarrassed.
How so? Why would MLK
He'd
be
be embarrassed. How we're supposed to be in unity, everybody's so segregated. It's division.
Interesting point. What do you think of the division within Chop? Are people gonna
No, it's
work
too
out
much
their...
division in Chop because, gotta be real with y'all, gotta be real.
You can be real.
Because people keep fighting and be bucking in everybody's face and call everybody in the N word and the C word. And you see this neighborhood, let us fight here, and we are embarrassing this neighborhood with loud music and cussing all the time. That's why they went behind our backs. They went to City Hall, said they want us to get the fuck out. Yes, sir.
Any last words you'd like for the people watching and anyone who might watch in the future?
Go to your Congress. Defund all the police. Defund the popos. Defund the cops. Defund the cops. Black lives matter. Trans black lives matter. Black trans women's lives matter. We all bleed the same. Defund. If you have people who are black in your community, support them. Give black people money and support them. Black lives matter.
Thank you very much.
Hold on.
Thank you.
Hello.
How's this Deutsch?
But not bad actually. But I didn't really understand them, but I didn't know what German is. Not bad.
Well, I think his comments tap into some of the sentiments here in Chop, some of the frustrations with many people and parties inside and outside of Chop. Let's take a look at Cal Anderson Park.
Not really. I've been watching like the other like pretty prominent lives and stuff, and I just came down to see like for myself.
So that's what we see as the only solution to all this.
Interestingly, we have a sign here on the backstop to the baseball diamond, one of the two baseball diamonds here at Chop. Not just every fucking day in Black Trans Lives Matter, but this is just the beginning. Okay, comments. What's going on in the chat? I didn't see your comments during that interview. Let me take a look at what you're saying now. I don't know if Annabelle's gonna steal artwork, and I wouldn't encourage her to do so, but with permission, last night she took the chalk from outside the police department, so maybe she can create her own artwork from that. What else are people saying? As now I hear yelling and screaming on the field here at Cal Anderson Park. It seems like while the tensions diffused, at least momentarily, between the protesters and the city, tensions bubbling beneath the surface within Chop have been rising. There isn't grass here. It is, at least on the field, the athletic field, it's artificial turf. Here's one of the turf baseball diamonds. There's the other turf baseball diamond, and the turf field is also a soccer field. With regard to my situation, I've got work I need to attend to. So I'm probably going to wrap up this stream momentarily. Before I do so, though, I'm going to try to catch a lot more of your comments. Oh, which is Broadway? So Broadway is the street behind these buildings. I'm not sure what happened at the so-called Broadway building. You're welcome, Bruce. Magic Monkey, I don't know if your comment is with regard to the city, but the city certainly, I'm used to keeping a straight face during interview after interview after interview. I do that for a living, basically. The city really backed off. And because of that, I might need to change the title of this video and put a little correction or clarification in the description. My PayPal link is not in the description of this video. It will go into the description of the video later on, but my PayPal link is on the about page of my YouTube channel, and it's being added to all of my recent streams here from Seattle. Get some lunch? Well, I basically got woken up and jumped out of bed and drove on over here this morning. I haven't had breakfast, not that I'm much of a breakfast person, but I've got work to do and potentially an interview or two to do. And again, thank you very much to everyone who contributes financially or in any way to these broadcasts. It really is a team effort. It's me doing the vast majority of the filming and talking, but Annabelle is a huge help. And likewise, those who choose to donate using my PayPal link or crypto links, or just help out in terms of sending screenshots when I ask for them, it's all a tremendous help, and I really appreciate it. And I really love how my reporting on this channel is becoming more of a team effort. And that team is really needed because this isn't a one-man job. As Annabelle walks back over here from the other baseball diamond, I don't know what my live schedule will be. I don't know how much longer I'll be in Seattle, as I was discussing last night. I get the impression that the city is inching toward using force. Not necessarily using force against people, but using force to remove barricades and objects that are occupying the streets. And you know what, I can flip the camera around. And I don't my impression, I forgot to address that. My impression is it's not going down today, because typically police move in, or in this case the Department of Transportation moved in, but they take an occupation like this when it's an odd hour, which is exactly what they did this morning. So 5 or 6 a.m. is a very odd hour for CHOP, because people tend to stay up late here. We've seen plenty of people walking around, even playing sports at 3 in the morning. And some people here don't go to bed till 4 a.m. So coming in at 5 or coming in at 6 is an hour in which the police or DOT workers can move in with little resistance. Granted, they ended up meeting resistance and they backed off. But I wouldn't expect them to come in this afternoon and use force to remove the barricades and remove the objects in the street. Maybe they do so in the days to come, but I wouldn't be surprised if the ongoing negotiations lead to maybe one barricade being removed today, because one of the leaders of CHOP, who's in negotiations with the city, indicated he would be willing to do so, although then he backed off that statement a little bit. But maybe some objects get moved around today at the request of the city. I wouldn't expect force to be used in daylight hours right now. I mean, today. Maybe that happens at nighttime. Maybe that happens tomorrow morning. Maybe that happens over the next couple days. Hard to tell. The city takes a step toward dismantling Chop and then backs off. Maybe that's going to keep repeating itself. The city takes a larger step toward dismantling Chop and then backs off again. I'm not sure, and I'm not sure if I'll be here to film if and when Chop is dismantled. Alright, last comments or questions. I'll take a look at the chats, flip the camera around. Still plenty of tents out here at Cal Anderson Park, and there are far more tents over in the gardening area than there are here on the field. At least far more residential tents. No, I'm not on vacation from past. I'm not on vacation at all. I gotta get to work right now on little sleep and whatnot. You're welcome, Bruce. I don't know when the next stream will be, but there should be at least one more before I leave Seattle. It's not a vacation, but it's exciting. I love doing this stuff. It's very much my passion. You're welcome, full-time geek. It's not over yet. Could be soon, but based on what happened this morning, I think there's still hours, if not days, to pass before it ends. You're welcome, Claudia. Any last words on this stream, Annabelle? Any last words on this stream?
I'm interested what the city is planning next. Well, they have to change their strategy. I think they want to disrupt the people, obviously, because they showed up this early this morning.
All right. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. I'll definitely be providing updates. Come on, you don't know Annabelle's nationality by now? You haven't watched enough of my recent broadcasts. If you don't know Annabelle's nationality by now, you haven't watched enough of this. You probably weren't watching 10-15 minutes ago. Jokes aside, I'll try to be providing updates on my Twitter feed at Freeman Reporter and on my Instagram at Nomad Journalist. And I should be going live at some point before leaving Seattle, but I don't know when. Thank you very much for tuning in. You're very welcome for the coverage. And see you sometime soon, live and on the ground. Most likely from Seattle. You want to say choose?
Tschüss.
Okay. Goodbye, y'all.